Viewer beware, for you're in for a scare. As SMK FNAF shows you a horrifying story of revenge. Well, not really revenge. It's more about weapons. War.
Sorry, Tanner. I'm trying to figure out what to teach my summer art students, maybe.
This is the story of Experiment 1188, Catnap. In the early 1990s, the eventual bosses of the vengeful god of Onslaught, Bob, Fiery, and Pichu, were working at a small toy factory called Playtime Co. When one day they had the genius idea of transforming one of Playtime Co.'s latest toys into a work of art. They used the body of the recently deceased child, Theodore Grambell, and made a tiny purple husk. Theo was later stuffed inside of the vessel, and the vessel was later called Experiment 1188 Catnap. Catnap eventually turned out to be a monster. A vicious war weapon with Fiery traits and Pichu's incredible lack of remorse. Viciously killing anything what he values as heretics. To serve to the thing it calls God, Experiment 1006, the prototype. Now, Fiery and Pichu made more of the Smiling Critter war weapons without the dead, lifeless husk inside of them to give them life. They don't need souls anymore to power toys. They just need remnant. The idea for Catnap was simple. A small plush toy would make itself breathe. Red hallucinogenic gas when you pull its tail. It does this on command. Fiery and Pichu eventually gave Playtime Co. a large amount of money to keep the Smiling Critters. They take them back to Plush World. That would be their unfortunate fall, as the Smiling Critters later saw the ways of Experiment 1006 to be cruel and unusual. And that's when 1006 decided to label them heretics. First Bubba, then Hop, then Kickin'. And that is it. The first two that he killed. Catnap would later keep 4 of the remaining Smiling Critters alive, but he didn't tell them about each other's existence. All they knew that all of them were dead. Dog Day Bobby Bear Hug, Crafty Corn, and Hoppy Hopscotch. Fast forward into 2024. Fiery and Pichu eventually let Catnap out of his own prison, for the rise of the anime shipping war was among them. Dog Day was along with Catnap the first day they met the shipper. Eventually, Catnap put Dog Day in a temporary bigger body and brought him into a cellar. On the day of the infamous March 19th, that was later canceled due to the other side not wanting to be there that day, Catnap wandered over to Dog Day's cell and ripped off the lower part of his body. A belt had to be secured into Dog Day's lower half so his entrails wouldn't spill out like a can of soda. Catnap would later recruit Hoppy Hopscotch as the prototype's latest toy to play with. However, Hoppy failed in pursuit of the shipper and was finally pulled underneath the jail cell of Dog Day and literally brought back to be put to death by the infamous Purple Cat. The infamous Hour of Joy would later happen on a separate day. Anime wasn't there. All there was Bendy throwing across anime characters as Catnap put them to sleep. Fiery would burn, Pichu would rip and tear, Bob would pike, and Flippy, he would just be Flippy. Bob and Flippy were there because they wanted a taste of anime blood, and Bendy just wanted to see his enemies die. They did leave a couple anime characters left. Catnap would just stay like a stable character for the next couple months. Until today in October, where he wanted a taste of shipper blood, but he didn't get it. Fast forward into November, Catnap's reign of terror is at an all-time high. Now this in the lore hasn't happened yet, but for the sake of the story, I'm going to tell you this happened. On the day of November 23rd, 2024, Catnap would meet his final pursuit of the shipper of this year, as Dog Day helped the shipper to get away once again. Catnap, not wanting them to get away one last time, eventually tried to kill Dog Day, but unknowingly the shipper threw him away. Dog Day and shipper eventually made it to the border that besides the plush and anime world. The room filled with Catnap's infamous hallucinogenic gas. However, it didn't work here, for reasons I'm not sure of. Catnap would later come down in his newly made monster form. It has been made since May. It's called Experiment 006. Wait, 6.7. Wait, yeah, 6. The bigger bodies mission plan. Unknowingly, the shipper burned catnap. Now this isn't a problem, because catnap is immune to fire. That's one of the entrails Fire and Pichu made onto catnap. But his imaginary friend / god, the prototype, later lowered down his mechanical claw to quote-unquote save catnap. Instead of saving him, the prototype would later use his spiked claws and push it right into catnap's mouth. His body went limp, and the prototype took away his bigger body. All the while, his smaller body was just standing there. He left. The story will be